I mean, okay, I'm all nervous now. I know it's only been 7 weeks, and I think that there are people that would say that it isn't possible in 7 weeks, but I just think those people have miserably small hearts or something, like they're incapable of experiencing what we're experiencing, so, I love you. Not exactly the response I was looking for, but I'll take it. You too. No, I'm rushing things. I'm being dumb, and I shouldn't have said that so soon, and obviously you aren't ready to say that to me yet, even though you seem like a person who's really in touch with their feelings because you like recycling and hybrid cars or whatever, but those things aren't the same as love, and I probably shouldn't have equated them in my mind. And you know what? I was thinking? There was a lot of formaldehyde in that fetal pig, and I probably inhaled like a tub of it in piles, so obviously that has created some sort of apocalypse in my brain, and that's why I said what I said just then. And I know you're thinking, oh no, she's freaking out. My girlfriend's freaking out, but I'm not freaking out. I'm freaking out a little bit, I can't deny that, but I'm not majorly freaking out because I believe in giving you space to arrive at the same place I'm at. You're like a sloth. You need time. You're slowly climbing up the tree and you're on your own timetable. And I'm like a squirrel. I have raced up the tree and I'm partying and looking around like this is the most amazing thing you could possibly imagine. And I'm jumping up and down saying, get up the tree, but you're a sloth. You can't race up the tree. You're not a squirrel and sloths can't run. So you're eating. You're munching on like saplings or whatever, and you're making your way to the top of the tree. And because you're a sloth, it's not like I can run down the tree, pick you up, and carry you to the top of the tree. You'd crush me. I'd be dead. I'd be a dead squirrel. And you wouldn't even notice because you have sloth hair in your eyes. Should I shut up? I should shut up.
Such are the signs taught by this lad I read. As I guide others, so the boy guides me. The frustrate signs of oracles grown dumb. O king, thy wilful temper ails the state, for our shrines and altars are profaned, by which is filled the maw of dogs and crows, a jargon strange of twitterings, hoots, and screams, the flesh of Oedipus's unburied son. Therefore the angry gods abominate our litanies and our burnt offerings on blazing altars. But the god of fire came not in flame, and from the thigh bones dripped a foul ooze. Therefore no birds trill out a happy note, as is my wont, where every fowl of heaven find harborage upon mine ears was born, for the whir of wings gorged with the carnival of human gore. O ponder this, my son, to err is common to all men, but the man who having erred, who hugs not his heirs, but repents and seeks the cure, is not a wastrel nor unwise. Let death disarm thy vengeance, O forbear to vex the dead. What glory wilt thou win by slaying twice the slain? I mean thee well, counsel's most welcome if I promise gain.
If music be the food of love, play on. Give me the excess of it, that, surfeiting, the appetite may sicken, and so die. That strain again, it had a dying fall. Oh, it came o'er my ear like the sweet sound that breathes upon a bank of violets, stealing and giving odor. Enough! No more. 'Tis not so sweet now as it was before. O spirit of love, how quick and fresh art thou, that, notwithstanding thy capacity, receiveth as the sea, not enters there, of what validity and pitch soe'er, but falls into abatement and low price, even in a minute. So full of shapes is fancy that it alone is high fantastical.
I am so fed up with smiling. I've had to smile my entire life. And now it's not only a lifestyle, it's a part of me. There was a situation when I was younger with my father, and he looked at me and he told me, "Why do you look so serious? You should have a smile on your face more." That's how I got these scars. But that's a story for another time. I've done some really messed up things in my life. Do I regret anything? Absolutely not. Now, you may be wondering, why is a freak from the mental hospital giving us a talk about life? Well, my life has been such a huge fireball that I've got to tell someone. First of all, I lost my job. Then, my apartment for playing music too loud. I blame my neighbor for that. Out of everything, my wife, she left me like a dog you toss out on the road after 10 years. I didn't even care that my car exploded. It was a piece of junk anyways. After a few drinks, I went swimming in the Santa Ana Canal. Someone dragged me out and here I am now. The doctors told me I should have been dead. The amount of chemicals should have ended me at impact with the canal. I've learned over the years not to be so serious and have a smile more. And for those who can't, well, that's on them.
Say, Aunt Eleanor, I've been reading an awfully interesting book. Oh, I've forgotten what the name of it is. But it is awfully interesting. It's all about broken engagements and misunderstandings. And they go to the most elegant ball, and he sends her the loveliest flowers out of his own green garden, you know? Oh, I've forgotten what kind of flowers, but it is some particular kind, you know? That means something. It is sort of a queer name. I wish I could think of it. So if anybody ever sent me and I'd know what it was. It was in England, you know, at a manor house. I wish I could think of it. It isn't Lang Lang, you know. But anyways, it's just as good. I've forgotten what I meant anyways. So I guess I wouldn't know. Well, he sends them to her, you know, and she doesn't wear them. Oh! There's someone else in the house that's in love with him too. And she interferes? I think she mixes up the flowers or something. She's an awful mean old thing, and I should think that he'd seen through her in a minute. And known she, the other one, wanted to wear the flowers. I would, I know. Wouldn't you, Aunt Eleanor? Well, it makes an awful lot of trouble anyways. And he quarrels with her, the nice one, and goes off with the other. She has the most perfectly lovely dress at the ball, all sorts of serpent-like and weird, glittering, you know? And oh, I was dreadfully afraid he was going to propose to her. Wouldn't that have been perfectly awful if he had? Aunt Eleanor?
There was your mistake.
There was your error. The error all women commit. Why can't you women love us? False and all. Why you place us on a monstrous pedestal? We all have feet of clay, women as well as men, but when we men love women, we love them knowing their weaknesses, their faults, their imperfections. Love them all the more. It may be for that reason. It's not the perfect, but the imperfect who are in need of love. It is when we are wounded by our own hands or the hands of others that love shall come to cure us. Else, what is love at all? All sins except the sin itself, love shall forgive. All lives save loveless lives. True love shall pardon. A man's love is like that. Wider, larger, more human than a woman's. Women think they're making ideas of men, but they're making of us our false idols of men. You made your false idol of me, and I had not the courage to come down here and show you my wounds, tell you my weaknesses, as I was afraid that I would lose your love, as I have lost it now. And so last night you ruined my life for me. Yes, ruined it. What this woman asked of me was nothing compared to what she offered me. She offered me security, peace, stability. The sin of my youth that I had thought was buried rose up in front of me with his hands at my throat. Hideous, horrible. I could have killed it forever, sent it back to its tomb, destroyed its records, and burned the one witness against me. But you prevented it. No one but you. You know it. And now what is there before me but public disgrace, ruin, terrible shame, the mockery of the world, lonely dishonored life, a lonely dishonored death it may be someday. Let women make no more ideals of men. Let them not put them on altars and bow before them, or they may ruin other lives as completely as you. You, whom I have so widely loved, have it in mind.
Well, Tommy has proposed to me. Again, Tommy really does nothing but propose to me. He proposed to me last night in the music room when I was quite unprotected, as there was an elaborate trio going on. I didn't dare to make the smallest repartee, I need hardly tell you. If I had, it would have stopped the music at once. Musical people are so absurdly unreasonable. They always want one to be perfectly dumb at the very moment when one is longing to be absolutely deaf. Then he proposed to me in broad daylight this morning in front of that dreadful statue of Achilles. Really, the things that go on in front of that work of art are quite appalling. The police should interfere. At luncheon, I saw by the glare in his eye that he was going to propose again, and I just managed to check him in time by assuring him that I was a bimetallist. Fortunately, I don't know what bimetallism means, and I don't believe anybody else does either. But the observation crushed Tommy for 10 minutes. He looked quite shocked. And then Tommy is so annoying the way he proposes. If he proposed at the top of his voice, I should not mind so much. That might produce some effect on the public, but he does it in this horrid, confidential way. When Tommy wants to be romantic, he talks to one just like a doctor. I am very fond of Tommy, but his methods of proposing are quite out of date. I wish, Gertrude, you would speak to him and tell him that once a week is quite often enough to propose to anyone, and that it should always be done in a manner that attracts some attention.
Okay, now here it comes. The moment I was talking about. The moment that has fascinated me more than any other. and has brought me back to this record again and again. Here it is. You quite can't make out what she's saying right there, because someone dropped their cane. Is she saying, live while you can, or leave while you can? That's exactly what you're thinking while you stand at the altar. Live or leave. And you choose to live. And so, one day, you say, I love you. And you basically phrase it as a question. But she accepts it as a fact. Next thing you know, there she's standing right in front of you in a $3,000 wedding dress with tears in her eyes, and her nephew made it the hooper. And for the next couple months, you stare at the alien form in the bed beside you, and you think to yourself, who are you? Who are you? And one day, you say it out loud. Next thing you know, it's couples counseling and trial separation and all your conversations about her eating disorder and your addiction to Zoloft. Oh, and the whole relationship ends on a particularly ugly note with your only copy of Gypsy flying through the air and smashing on the living room wall. In the larger sense, broader sense, it's better to have lived than left, right?
Devil take them all. Take them all. They think I'm a doctor and can cure everything, and I know absolutely nothing. I've forgotten all I ever knew. I remember nothing. Absolutely nothing. Devil take it. Last Wednesday I attended a woman in Sisip, and she died. And it's my fault that she died. Yes, I used to know a certain amount 5 and 20 years ago, but I don't remember anything now. Nothing. Perhaps I'm not really a man, and I'm only pretending I've got arms and legs and a head. Perhaps I don't exist at all. And only imagine that I walk and eat and sleep. Oh, if only I didn't exist. Devil only knows. Day before yesterday, they were talking in the club. They said Shakespeare, Voltaire. I'd never read. Never read at all. I put on an expression as if I had read. And so did the others. Oh, beastly. Oh, petty. I remembered the woman I killed on Wednesday. I couldn't get her out of my mind. Everything in my mind became crooked, nasty, wretched. So I went and drank.
A C. A C. I got a C on my coat hanger sculpture? How could anyone get a C in coat hanger sculpture? May I ask a question? Was I judged on the piece of sculpture itself? If so, is it not true that time alone can judge a work of art? Or was I judged on my talent? If so, is it fair that I be judged on a part of my life over which I have no control? If I was judged on my effort, then I was judged unfairly, for I tried as hard as I could. Perhaps I was judged on what I had learned from this project. If so, then were not you, my teacher, also being judged on your ability to transmit knowledge onto me? Was I judged? Maybe I was judged on the quality of the coat hanger from which my creation was made out of. Now, is that not also unfair? Am I to be judged on the quality of the coat hanger that the dry cleaning establishment uses to return our garments? Is that not the responsibility of my parents? Should they not share my C? Thank you, sophomore. The squeaky wheel gets the grease.
God's bread. It makes me mad. Day, night, hour, tide, time, work, play, alone, in company. Still, my care hath been that she's been matched, and having now provided a gentleman of noble parentage, of fair diminishes, youthful, and nobly trained, stuffed, as they say, with honorable parts, proportioned as one's thought would wish a man, and then to have a wrenched pulling full, a whining mammet in her fortune's tender, to answer, I'll not wed, I cannot love, I am too young, I'll not wed, I pray you pardon me. But, as you will not wed, I'll pardon you. Gaze where you will, you shall not house with me. Look to, think on. I do not use to jest. And you be mine. I'll give you to my friend. And you be not. Hang, beg, starve, die in the streets. For, by my soul, I'll nearer acknowledge thee, nor what is mine shall never do thee good. Trustude, bethink you, I'll not forsworn.
We can't strike. Why not? Because it is against the law to strike. The king has declared that everything is a crime. Writing is a crime. 2 weeks ago, the police destroyed the Gantley, the workers' newspaper. They smashed the press. They burned over 2,000 newspapers. But that didn't satisfy the king. 3 days ago, at a student meeting, a peaceful meeting, they broke it up. They arrested 2 of my friends. Soldiers broke it up and arrested 2 of my friends. Writing, talking, going to class, speaking out is a crime. Being poor is a crime. Being poor is the worst crime of all. And if you commit these crimes, you are condemned for life. Our government has no mercy, no pity, no forgiveness. And there's no work for us. And because there's no work, we can't feed our starving children. Tell me why we are powerless to save the people we love. All of you know, tell me why the king betrayed us. We were promised the vote. Do we have it? Do we have the vote? Where is the republic our fathers died for? It is here, my brothers. It lives in our heads, but most of all, best of all, it's here. It's here in our hearts. We are the republic.
We are trying to build up life, Lady Huntington, on a better, truer, pure basis than life rests on here. This sounds strange to you all, no doubt. How could it sound other than strange? You rich people in England, you don't know how you are living. How could you know? You shut out from your society the gentle and the good. You laugh at the simple and the pure. Living as you all do, on others and by them. You sneer at self-sacrifice. And if you throw bread to the poor, it is merely to keep them quiet for a season. Throw your pomp and wealth in art. You don't know how to live. You don't even know that. You love the beauty that you can see and touch and handle, the beauty that you can destroy and do destroy. But of the unseen beauty of life, of the unseen beauty of a higher life, you know nothing. You have lost life's secret. Oh, your English society seems to me shallow, selfish, foolish. It has blinded its eyes and stopped its ears. It lies like a leopard in purple. It sits like a dead thing, smeared with gold. It is all wrong, all wrong.
Well, as you guessed, Hope took over her father's business, instituting a series of reforms which opened up the public bathrooms to all the people to pee for free. As much as they liked, whenever they liked, for as long as they liked, with whomever they liked. The UGC was renamed the Bobby Strong Toilet Memorial Authority, which was operated as a public trust for the benefit of the people. Of course, it wasn't long before the water turned silty, brackish, and disappeared altogether. As cruel as Colorado B. Cladwell was, his measures did effectively regulate the water consumption, sparing the town the same fate as the Phantom Urine Town. Hope decided to ignore the warning signs, however, preferring to bask in the love of the people for the last time, if there is a next time. I'm sure we can. Well, that's our story. Hope eventually joined her father in a manner not quite so gentle. But as for the people of this town, they tried as best as they could, but they were prepared for the world that they had inherited. Knowing that they were on for their founding fathers' scare tactics for when water dried up, they recognized their town for the first time for what it really was, and what it was waiting to be.
Believe what you choose about me. I am not worth a moment's sorrow, but don't spoil your beautiful young life on my account. You don't know what may be in store for you unless you leave this house at once. You don't know what it is to fall into the pit, to be despised, mocked, abandoned, sneered at, to be an outcast, to hear the horrible laughter of the world. You don't know what it is. I may have wrecked my own life, but I will not let you wreck yours. Why, you're a mere girl. You would be lost. You haven't got the kind of brains that enables a woman to get back. You have neither the wit nor the courage. You couldn't stand dishonor, no. Go back, Lady Windermere, to the husband who loves you, whom you love. You have a child, Lady Windermere. Go back to that child who even now, in pain or in joy, may be calling to you. God gave you that child. He will require from you that you make his life fine, that you watch over him. What answer will you make to God if his life is ruined through you? Back to your house, Lady Windermere. Your husband loves you. He has never swerved a moment from the love he bears you. But even if he had 1,000 loves, you must stay with your child. If he was harsh to you, you must stay with your child. If he ill-treated you, you must stay with your child. If he abandons you, your place is with your child.
I'm celebrating because I've got a friend who tells me everything that I ought to be told. I'm glad you spoke to me like you did. But you'll see, I'm going to change. And Emily, I have to ask you for a favor. If I go away to state agriculture school, will you write me letters? The day wouldn't come when I wouldn't want to know about everything about our town. You know, Emily, whenever I meet a new farmer, I always ask if it's important to go to state agriculture school to be a good farmer. And most of them say it's a waste of time. And like you say, being gone all the time in other places and meeting new people. I guess new people aren't any better than old ones. Emily, I have to say that you're as good as a friend as I've got. I don't need to go and meet people in other towns. Emily, I'm going to make my mind right now. Nah, I won't go. I'll tell Paul about it tonight.
Even as one heat, another heat expels, or as one nail by strength drives out another. So the remembrance of my former love is by a newer object quite forgotten. It is mine, or Valentine's praise, her true perfection, or my false transgression. That makes me reasonless to reason thus. She is fair, and so is Julia, that I love, that I did love, for now my love is thawed, which, like in waxen image against a fire, bears no impression of the thing it was. Methinks me zeal to Valentine is cold, and that I love him not as I was wont. Oh, but I love his lady too much, and that the reason I love him so little. How shall I dote on her with more advice, that thus without advice begin to love her? 'Tis but her picture I have yet beheld, but when I look at her perfections, there is no reason but I shall be blind. If I can shake my earring love, I will. If not, to compass her, I will use my skill.
Wine. 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 A very good vintage. I would offer it to you, of course, but it would ruin you. What else can I tell you before I fire you? Ooh, did I say that out loud? Were you paying attention? Forget about it. Maybe I won't even do it. Who knows? I meant to say, what else can I tell you for your edification to help continue to work for me? When I was a child, no. Don't look at me like that. I'm not some kind of animal. I'm not some kind of... I was in love once. Is that what you want to hear? There's a blemish on my career, a black spot in my rise to fame and fortune. All the profits I tried to make, she tried to take away. She wanted me to use my money to clothe people, and feed people, and house people, and help them farm, and get them clean water, get them small loans and artist grants. And I did everything she wanted. Because of love. She was beautiful, heavenly. Her feet never touched the ground. She made the most powerful men self-conscious. Oh, she was put together like no other. Just meat and bone, but better, more human. Like she was built from sunlight and air. Her existence is proof of God. She had my heart in her hand. And then she died.
Rascal thieves, here's gold. Go, suck the subtle blood, all the grape till high fever cease your blood to froth. Trust not the physician, for his antidotes are poison, and he slays more than you rob. Take wealth and live together. Do villainy, to sense you protest, do it. Like workmen, I'll example you with thievery. The sun's a thief, and with his great attraction robs the vast sea. The moon's an errant thief, and her pale fire she snatches from the sun. The sea's a thief, whose liquid surge resolves the moon into salt tears. The earth's a thief, that feeds and breeds by composure, stolen from general excrements. Each thing's a thief, the laws your curb and whip, in their rough power of unchecked theft. Love not yourself away, rob one another, there's more gold. Cut throats! All that meet are thieves to Athens go. Break open shops. Nothing can you steal, but thieves do lose it. Steal no less, for I give you, and gold confound you, how were so. Amen.
You didn't want to be with me by yourself, not a minute more than you had to. You wouldn't have been if you had the chance. Mornings, you sit by yourself in your room all day. Nights, you come out to the front room, and you won't get out of Aunt Eller's sight. Last time I saw you alone, it was winter, with the snow 6 inches deep in drifts, when I was sick. You brung that hot soup out to me, and me in bed. I hadn't shaved in 2 days. You asked if I had any fever, and you put your hand on my forehead to see. I bet you don't remember as much as me. I remember everything you ever done, every word you ever said. I can't think of nothing else. You see how it is? I see. I ain't good enough for you, am I? I'm a hired hand, got dirt on my hands, pig slop. I ain't fitting to touch you. We'll see who's better, Miss Laurie Williams, and maybe you won't be so free and high-fluting with your airs. You're such a fine lady. I told you the way it was, and you wouldn't listen. Well, you ain't never gonna be rid of me.
Mary, if thou were an honest man, thyself and the money too, thou didst swear to me on a parcel gilt goblet, sitting in my dolphin chamber, at the round table, by a sea-coal fire, on Wednesday in Weeson week, when the prince had thy head broke for liking his father to a singing man of Windsor, thou didst swear to me then, as I was washing thy wound, to marry me and make me my lady thy wife. Canst thou deny it? Did not goodwife Keach, the butcher's wife, come in then and call me gossip quickly, coming in to borrow a mess of vinegar, telling us she had a good dish of prawns, whereby thou didst desire to eat some, whereby I told thee they were ill for a green wound? And didst thou not, when she was gone downstairs, desiring me to be no more so familiarity with such poor people, saying ere long they should call me madam? And didst thou not kiss me, and bid me fetch thee 30 shillings? I put thee now to thy book oath. Deny it if thou canst.
I know you're probably mad at me for leaving before the funeral, but I just can't do it. My whole body itches and it won't stop until I get in a car and can't see this house or this town or this state from the rearview window. This way is better. This way I'll get back from my trip and go straight to school and you won't have to look at me or think about me. You can tell people you have a daughter, but you won't have to talk to me on the phone or see me on the couch. I'll be a no-maintenance daughter, just like you always wanted. I'm going to go now. I know someday you'll want to talk to me again. Maybe after I graduate and get a job and get married and buy a house and have my own daughter. Then you can talk to her and be her favorite, and then we can pretend like you were a really great mother. She won't know, and I won't have to tell her. But now I'm going to get on the road and push you out of my mind, and I probably won't think of you until I get to the Grand Canyon or some other fairly good canyon, and maybe I'll cry in front of the mammoth orange hole in the ground, or maybe I'll smile because it's so beautiful and I'm free and windswept. But first, I'm going to get into Susie's mom's car, and we'll drive till there's just drops left in the tank. And as we cross the border into Massachusetts, we will roll into the first gas station where I'll get some ding dongs and some orange soda, and I'll bite into the first one sitting on the hood watching the car serve up gas. Then I'll get in the driver's seat and put my foot on the accelerator until I can't keep my eyes open anymore. So I pull over and we both close our eyes and sleep until we're woken at 3 a.m. by separate but equally terrible nightmares.
I would like to call on the leniency of the jury, not because I didn't know what I was doing. I knew what I was doing. Although, please keep in mind that wasn't actually me who killed Dave. I didn't shoot anyone or anything. I just helped with the kidnapping. I may be an accessory to murder, but a minor accessory. And what's a minor accessory to murder? Like a beret. It's true I helped with the kidnapping, but I had a good reason for all my actions. Revenge. Revenge is, I believe, a good reason to do things. Sure, it may get you arrested, but my hope is that you, my peers, will understand and appreciate the importance of revenge and be lenient on me. Because when you get down to it, all of my actions were motivated by revenge. When you take away a man's right to support himself, don't you expect him to fight back? And so I did. Murder might have been too strong a way to fight back, but I hope you will understand my impulses, if not the severity of my actions. Thank you. Oh, also, I would like to say to those who try to kidnap me and kidnap CEOs, I would not do that. I do not think that is a good idea. Despite my previous manifesto I wrote saying I thought it was a good idea, I no longer believe this manifesto. I am putting it and I have seen the errors of my past. But I was trapped. The system is against us, that much is clear. It is against you, whether or not you have broken the law, it is just against you. I don't think this is good for a system. That's all. Thank you. Please be lenient. Cool. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Henry Morgan. I'm 30 years old, and I am the son of John Jacob Morgan. I am currently working at Cordelia Techs, but that's all I'm doing because I'm not attending college. I don't feel like doing all that extra school. It's just so much work. I'm too lazy for it. I don't need a job anyways, because my mom and dad give me money whenever I want. Plus, my job does give me something to do. I would hang out with friends, but I don't have many. Well, I do have one best friend. Ronnie Rodriguez is one of my best of friends. He's like a brother to me. We do everything together. Hang out, play video games. But we've only been friends for a little while because he is 12 years younger than me. But we still have really good memories together. My favorite memory was a couple months ago when we went to the amusement park and he spilled his ice cream on my dad. We both died of laughing. But my dad, he did not find it too funny. My dad. John Jacob Morgan was my dad. I didn't really want to give my opinion on him, but I guess I will. Me and him have a rough relationship. We have never really gotten along. I did do everything in my power to embarrass him. But he treated me badly. Well, it wasn't the nicest to him. But, that's what, parents and their kids do, I guess. I loved him very much. But I don't think he did. Oh, yeah. Night the murder. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. I was just at home watching the game. And what I found weird is my dad was not back yet, which is weird because he's usually back to watch the game. I was getting really concerned, but I don't know, I just thought he was with, friends or something.
Hello everyone. As you know, I am Mr. Butterworth. I am an executive at Concordia Textile Co. I enjoy my job, I get to interact with everybody, and it is a decent job. I had completed high school, went to college for business, and completed my degree. Looking for a job, I ran into JJ, and he told me he needed an executive. I have a wonderful wife, Miss Butterworth, and our amazing daughter, April Butterworth. April's the nicest person you will ever meet. I enjoy going on walks and listening to music. I was a member of the neighborhood watch, but they removed me for being too eager to catch people. I have lived in Concordia my entire life. I have always thought that this small town was quiet and peaceful. My home as a kid was modest and small. One time my mother was sick and my father had tried his best to take care of her, but she died 3 days later. It hit my father the hardest, and it was up to me to grow up and learn how to do things. My father got really closed off and wasn't social. Now, about JJ. I respected JJ as a boss and as a friend. It is sad to hear JJ died. He was a caring gentleman and knew how to help in need. JJ was the type of person to always get his way, no matter whether he was right or if he's wrong. Sometimes he didn't know when to just stop and breathe. When I heard JJ died, it was in the paper. I was at home with my wife. She was crocheting while I was planning our next trip. We had recently just taken our trip to Australia. I was away from work for 3 weeks. We spent 2 weeks there.
Hi, my name is Mrs. Butterworth. I am happily married to my husband, Mr. Butterworth. We have a 17-year-old daughter named April. We have a pet cat named Chip. He's 2 years old. I was born on January 20th, 1971. I am 50 years old. It is hard for me to make friends because I'm very shy. I have one brother. His name is Bob. He is a year older than me. We grew up in a quiet, peaceful neighborhood in an off-white house with rose bushes in front of it. I believe in true love, and I just want to live happily with my family that I love very much. My relationship with the people in the town are great. When I was 10, my mother taught me how to crochet doilies and other things. I have made blankets, stuffed animals, and of course doilies. Every November, I love to donate doilies to the church bazaar. Even though I love my town very much, I do drive 50 miles to the town Pawnee to get my hair done by my best friend. Her name is Stacy, and I've known her since we were young. My family and I were so sad to hear that JJ was murdered because we were very close. At the time of the murder, I was at home with Mr. Butterworth and our pet cat Chip, crocheting and planning our trip to Australia.
Hello. Hi, it's me, April. Oh wait, sorry, my name is April Butterworth. I am 17 and a senior in high school. I was born on the 2nd of April, 17 years ago. I was born and raised in Concordia, Indiana. I was raised by my two amazing and wonderful parents, Mr. and Mrs. Butterworth. I'm a pretty boring person. I grew up just like everyone else, and I love this town a lot. And I just wanted to wake up from this nightmare and for it to all be over. How could someone do this? Oh, poor Mr. Morgan. I remember when I was a little girl, Mr. Morgan gave me a yummy piece of pie. And it was good. I don't know who could have done this. I really don't know who it was. But I do hope we find the monster who did this. I also hope she or he gets what they deserve. A lot of good people worked for Mr. Morgan, including my father. I just hope Mr. Morgan is in a better place. Watching us try to find his killer. Last Tuesday, I was with Ronnie Rodriguez. We were singing Wannabe by the Spice Girls. We were at a karaoke place. So, that's all I have for you. Thank you for your time, and I hope we all try our best to find the killer and make him or her pay.
As town mayor, it is my duty to make sure the civilians of this town are protected, especially now since there's a murderer on the loose. It baffles me that the people I pass by every day, work with, or even live close to have the potential to do something like this. Goes to show you can't always be too careful. My father used to tell me that. As an only child, I grew up alone most of the time. Mother and father were always out working, so I felt like I had to grow up on my own. Maybe a little too fast for my age, but nevertheless, I matured quickly and tried to find what I wanted to do with my life. I usually don't have time for hobbies, but when I do, I like to read. Educating the mind is always a priority. My son, Ronnie, and I have been distant. I'm always caught up in my work that I forget to spend time with the boy. I hear he's good friends with Henry. Although I do think the man is a bad influence considering how immature he is. Moving forward, the Butterworth family are very kept to themselves and nice people. As a matter of fact, I sort of envy them almost for having a genuine family, which is something I could never have. Anyway, Mr. Morgan had always been demanding, always asking for something. He was rude and liked to insert his opinion whenever he had the chance. However, how much as he was a headache, I sort of saw myself in him too. I could sense that he and his son weren't that close, so I sympathize as a parent. During the time of the murder, I was in a council meeting that I had planned with Sheriff Baker. We were discussing the plans about moving the homeless folks, I'm sure the town has heard, for Mr. Morgan.
Hello, my name is Ronnie Rodriguez. Concordia Textiles is the place I work at. I am in love with April Buttersworth. I am also good friends with Henry Morgan. We're that close of friends that I even look up to him as a big brother. My mom is the mayor of this town, Mayor Imagi Rodriguez. You should know her. Mr. and Mrs. Buttersworth, I do know, because they are the parents of the most beautiful girl around. Vacations out of state were fun, but recently, we haven't been out of state. Always sparks a memory of my childhood. I have a lot on my plate. Hobbies can slide in at times because I work at a job that takes half my time. Then I also have school. But usually when I have the time, I like to do martial arts or hang with Henry, if that's a hobby. But usually I feel bad for what had happened to Mr. Morgan. How could someone do such a thing? As these people seem innocent. Me and April were together while this tragedy happened. We were singing our hearts out to Wannabe by the Spice Girls at the karaoke club. I was devastated for my friend, Henry Morgan, when we found out about this information. Whoever did this to Mr. Morgan is going to pay. We are going to find out who did it and make them pay.
Hello, my name is Dusty Barnes Baker. I'm the town sheriff. I've been working with the police for 30 or so years. I've lost count, to be honest. I've wanted to be a policeman ever since I was a kid. My pop used to be a sheriff, and I always loved watching him work. He taught me everything I know. Well, when it comes to policing, at least. Pretty much anything else was a different story. I mean, don't get me wrong, he was a fantastic father. It's just the man couldn't cook for the life of him. He passed on a while back. I try my best to make him proud. I keep in touch with my mom. She lives on the countryside, so it's a little difficult because of the distance. But someone's got to keep the town safe. I try to get her to move into town, but she likes the quiet. She has friends, and they knit and keep each other company. As for me, well, I'm a puzzle guy. I like solving puzzles, learning new tricks. Do Sudoku puzzles, crossword puzzles, origami. I've been working on a Rubik's Cube. That one's pretty challenging. I've solved one face, but I can't figure out how to do the rest of it without messing up. Oh, never mind. Anyways, about J.J. Morgan. He was a sturdy businessman. He knew what he wanted, and he worked hard to get there. He had a sort of presence to him, you know? Kind where you always knew when he walked into a room. The night he was murdered, I was just leaving town hall. There was a meeting with Mayor Rodriguez. Had plans to meet my friend Mike at the bar. JJ didn't deserve this. I promise, as sheriff and as a community member, we will get to the bottom of this.
My name is Dr. Amos Amir Friend, and I am 47 years old. I live in the northeast section of Concordia, where the main residential sector is, and I'm not married. I'm friends with Vera Hicks and Steve Camp, although I've met everyone here in town a few times. I don't smoke, but I occasionally drink. I'm an avid reader, owning quite the collection of classics and more, as I find it a relaxing way to spend my time. I do a bit of reading and then I'm in bed by 11 p.m., making sure I get 8 hours of sleep. After a glass of warm milk and about 20 minutes of stretches, I usually have no problem sleeping until morning. Just like a baby, I wake up without any fatigue or stress in the morning. I'm trying to explain that I'm someone who lives a quiet life while helping others. I take care not to trouble myself with any enemies. That would cause me to lose sleep at night. It was a shock to hear that J.J. Morgan died. I know some people didn't like him, but I had no problems with him. On Monday night, I was at home reading the latest medical journal before going to sleep. On Tuesday morning, I was getting ready for work when I got a call from the sheriff to go over to Morgan's office.
Hello everyone, I'm Paul Silva, I manage the bank. I really enjoy reading books, and I have a great collection of them. I love to listen to classical music, and I have ever since I was a kid. In fact, in my hometown in Michigan, the other children used to pick on me for listening to Mozart. One time they even threw me in a river and destroyed my Walkman. It ruined my favorite tape, a compilation of classical pieces including things by Chopin and Vivaldi. It really disheartened me to hear about the loss of Mr. Morgan. I truly admired him as a businessman and as a human, and I am honored to have conducted business with him. Truly a good man, and a hard worker too. Without his business, this town wouldn't be much. Not that it is. Although, I'm not ashamed to be living here. It's a good town. When I first moved here, as a young man, it seemed so quiet. I moved to get away from my hometown, and Concordia had a job offering for a banker. Meeting people like JJ was, well, he made it feel like a real town. That man helped me get my job, and I'm forever grateful. Mrs. Morgan and I have truly mourned over his loss, and we want more than anything for there to be justice for JJ. Concordia has never had problems like these, and it's truly chilling that something like this would happen after all these years of Mr. Morgan's successful business. At the time of the murder, I was finishing filing some things in the office at my work at the bank. After work, I went home, ate a light dinner, finished reading part of a Beethoven biography, and slept. It boggles my mind why someone would want to do such a thing.
Luther Simpson is my name, and I was born in the town of Concordia, Indiana, and I was in the military for 20 years and decided to move back here. I have a son, but we don't talk as much as we used to. I never really get to see him. Now I live in a one-bedroom house with a wire fence and dry dirt. I do have some good memories from my past, such as when I was a kid, when I was able to buy my first bike down at the bike shop 2 blocks from where I live. I was so happy. And I go to the cemetery to go pay my condolences to my old friends who fought with me in the War of Vietnam. I wake up every morning and get my tea ready at 7 a.m. And then I get my cigarette and walk to the store to buy the day's paper and get ready to enjoy the morning. I do not like J.J. Morgan. I absolutely do not like him. On that day after J.J. Morgan's passing on Tuesday, I was in the kitchen getting my lemons ready to make my tea and get ready to read the paper. After that, I started cooking some baked beans and beef stew. I had everything I needed to do that day done, with no reason to make any other trips anywhere. I had no more reasoning for leaving, for going to the store, nor making any trips anywhere. I stood at home.
Hello, my name is Teddy Simpson, and I grew up in Indiana as an only child. You may know my father, Luther Simpson. He was in the Army, so he was gone a lot. I am a drifter that loves to travel and experience new cultures. I love the outdoors, hiking, surfing, and camping. Growing up, I spent all my summers outside, riding bikes down the long roads that led to my tiny house. We didn't even have a TV. The reason I came back to Indiana was because I was running low on money. So I came to ask my dad for some. Me and JJ were good friends as kids. We would trade basketball cards, play tag all day. Once we got older, we split ways because we had different goals in life. The night JJ was killed, I was playing pool at the local bar. Matter of fact, I won $50. Anyways, I walked home from the bar around 2 a.m. I stopped in at a diner for a cup of coffee around 2:15 a.m. and stayed at the diner until at least 3 a.m. I'm not sure. I lost track of time.
Oh. Whew. Howdy. Sorry to keep you waiting, but the graduate was playing on the tube back at home, and I couldn't miss that. But never mind that. I got a story to tell, don't I? My name is Daniel Bonatti, but you can call me Pops. I run the corner mom and pop store with my lovely wife, Sherry. Now, me and Sherry have been there so long, people tend to wonder how and why we built the store in the first place. Well, there's your first mistake. We never actually built the shop. It used to be some run-of-the-mill Concordia pharmacy, you see, that my brother worked at, actually. But 20-something years ago, some big-name company from the city, I think it was Malbrains, CMS, something like that. Oh, what was it called? Now that's gonna bug me. Oh, never mind that. The point is, they were trying to tear down this lovely little building, and I wasn't having that. So I started a petition to keep it up. I fought and eventually, to my surprise, I won. Great, right? Well, now at this point I had a bigger problem. See, no one actually ran the shop. It was just some abandoned building right out of a zombie flick. So I had to keep it going. But with no money and no experience, I had no idea how I was going to make it work. Luckily, J.J. Morgan graced me with $2,000 to get me going, which was just enough. He lent me the money, and I, being the good man I am, paid him back in due time. Now, when J.J. crashes his eyesore sports car in the back of his own home like a fool, I, being the good man I am, help him out. I didn't worry about getting compensated because I knew it was good for the money. It's been almost 3 months and I still have that same hole in my pocket. Drives me crazy. But there's still no reason, even for something as heinous as that, to kill a man. Those of you who know me know I'm innocent. Well, that's about all I got to say about that. Thank you, and good luck finding the culprit.
Hi, my name is Sherry Bernardi. I am 67 years old and I live in Concordia, Indiana. Me and Daniel, he's my husband, we run a little shop over on Main Street. I help deliver groceries for our neighbors, things like that. Daniel has been living here his whole life, but I just moved here back in 81 when we first got married. Oh, I remember that day like it was yesterday. Oh, my dress was so pretty. Anyways, I actually baked my own wedding cake. Yeah, that's right. Back then we didn't have much money and I thought I was a good enough baker, so, might as well. But anyways, yeah, I like living in Concordia, of course, like any place it has its quirks. What with that newfangled rap music that seems to be popular with the youths. I was talking to my husband the other day about this new song that just came out, WAP. The lyrics are just so dirty. I don't understand how some people can like that, but whatever. I was actually talking to a customer the other day about Ethel's loss. Oh, it is just so sad what has happened to JJ. I have had her in my prayers every night since his passing. Him and Daniel have always been friends, so naturally him and Ethel would come over sometimes and I'd make a big pot of chili. Him and Daniel would talk business in the living room, and well, me and Ethel, we would make a little church gossip in the kitchen, but don't tell anyone I told you that. And on the night of his murder, me and Daniel were at home. We were watching one of them nature documentaries on the TV. And then after, the next morning, I made coffee for the both of us before I opened up shop.
Hello, my name is Vera Hicks. If you don't remember who I am, then I just know you've got split ends. I have been a certified hairdresser since December of 2003, and have been in this profession since I was 18. Hair just speaks to me. I love the feeling of freshly cut and colored hair. I adore my job and everyone who makes it happen, even those who refuse to let me work my magic when it comes to color. Florence Gunderson. I'm just messing with you, don't worry about it. Anyways, I have lived in Concordia my entire life, and I can't imagine living anywhere else. Almost everyone I know works around in the factory, and I feel like leaving the town with the factory would be abandoning everyone I've spent my life with. As many of you may have heard, my husband and I split in August last year. Yeah, I know, we just didn't work out. He thinks that I'm too immature for a 37-year-old woman, but I just think I'm young and hot. Sorry, I don't know why I even said that. I'm just so used to talking to people at work that it just kind of slipped out. But yeah, John Jacob Morgan, I think he was a pretty decent guy. He came in every day requesting a comb over to cover his bald spot. Even though I told him a toupee would work better. In fact, I was researching the most natural looking one with the hopes of changing his mind. Yeah, I know. I was roaming around my house and I was bored, so I decided to get some work done. I was really excited to show him my ideas, but I guess it doesn't matter anymore. It's a shame what happened to him.
Is it rolling? Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. Gosh, it's been a little while, hasn't it? Anyways, I'm Florence Gunderson. I've just moved back. I've been away from Concordia at college to become a middle school teacher. I love children. They inspire me with their young minds eager to learn. They don't have to bear the burden of adulthood on their shoulders yet. They can have fun. I remember when I was little, there were kids playing in the streets all the time. Sundays were named Dodge Day because after church, we would play our ultimate game of dodgeball. All the kids in the neighborhood would play. I loved being a kid. And I love this place. That's why I chose to become a teacher here. Now I have little time for myself, but in the time I do have, I draw, read, or paint, so I can get away from life for a bit. So I can get away from the pressure of being an adult. You know, paying your bills, working, hearing gossip at work. Oh, that reminds me. I heard that J.J. Morgan died last Tuesday. How tragic. Every Tuesday I work in the public library in town. I didn't hear about the incident until this week. Lately I've been seeing his son Henry. As I've been working in the library these past few Tuesdays, Henry is an amazing friend of mine. He came in to check out a book. I didn't know J.J. Morgan very well, but I do know he wasn't the kindest man in the community. I dislike rude, careless know-it-alls like himself, but really he didn't deserve to die.